our MASN insider, to break this one down for us. Sun's out. You've put the guns away for today, which we appreciate here, Roch. But let's go ahead and break into these roster moves first. Zach Eflin, we've seen coming for a couple days now. You saw Coby Mayo coming. How tough is it, though? You watched Urías ultimately a loss here.
Right. We knew there was going to be a flurry. I've been here since 4 a.m. I climbed the media gate.
Aggressive.
They don't serve breakfast out early, but yeah, I knew something was coming beyond those two moves. And Urías, that's the one that's. I mean, the baseball gods, they're mean. Let's be honest. I mean, this guy's going through, it's got to be the hottest stretch of his career, right?
Yeah.
257, I think it was 1178 OPS his last 14 games. Before last night, he's covering third base on a stolen base attempt and rolled the ankle. We thought that Ezekiel Tovar actually slid into him. I think the 3 beat writers here wrote that. Then you look at the replay, and it's just simple, he rolled the ankle. And he's covered third base how many times in his career? And he's a hot hitter. They need him. This offense has been struggling so much. You don't have Jordan Westberg. And then this happens. And, you know, it's 10-day, but who knows how long it takes for a sprained ankle. He was on crutches last night. He was on them again today. So that probably would be optimistic. But we haven't gotten details yet on the different grades of a sprain. But the bottom line is the team's hottest hitter and a guy they really like to have playing every day at third base right now with Westberg out and with Holiday at second is unavailable. And there's Coby Mayo, who was flying here last night, had no clue until he landed and his phone blew up. Everybody's like, hey, Urías hurt his ankle. He thought he was going to be an extra bench guy on the expanded September roster, and here he is starting at third base. It could get a lot of starts, not just against left-handers. Ty Block today, Oriole legend Ty Block, 5 starts, 19. But, you know, could be an extended look again with him, but he had no idea that was coming.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. Forrest Wall, someone you thought we might see, ultimately, again, cleared out here to make space. Let's take a look back at last night because it started early on. Dean Kremer, who had a chance to have his 4th consecutive quality start since coming back, and 103-1 right back at him in the bottom of the 4th inning. I mean, the swelling was instantaneous.
Instant. And I give him credit. He stayed up. He just kind of walked around, tried to walk the pen. You could see how much he was hurting, but never went down. I would have obviously been in tears, curled up.
To cart me off.
Exactly. So he's a tough guy. And then, you know, Urías gets hit glancing, but still a fastball, a 94-mile-an-hour sinker that didn't sink to the nose. Luckily, he turned his head away. But, you know, with Kremer, they didn't make a move with him yet. He's still on the active roster. They have the off day. They'll see in a couple days what happens. Maybe he can avoid the IL. We'll see. Or whether they push him back and skip him or bring in another starter. There could be more moves coming. Obviously, Benuelos is only going to be a one-day thing, I would assume, because he's taxi squad. I think it's the 3rd time that he's joined because he's here. You get that one day, and it's nice. He's been taxi most of the year. You get the Major League per diem in the nice hotels. That's terrific. So I assume there's going to be another move coming, and maybe that is for another infielder. We'll see. But, you know, Kremer getting hit, it's like everybody's celebrating Zach Eflin coming back. But those baseball gods again, we got to swap them out. You're back, we're going to take Dean Kremer from you. When is it going to get better for this team?
It's really unfair, and the problem is you ask when is it going to get better? It's September. So the time for it to get better until next year is starting to run out. But you mentioned Coby Mayo coming back today. We did get a chance to catch up with him earlier this morning in the clubhouse once he finally rejoined the Orioles on just what it meant for him to go back down to AAA and get some work in. Take a listen.
Yeah, on the offensive side, I think just simplifying things, trying to kind of go back to what I was doing early in the year. Good launch angles, hitting the ball hard. Not trying to do too much because I know I'm a good hitter. And so yeah, just simplifying things on offense, and then on defense, just having confidence and going through my routine that I built here with Tony Manzolino and working hard with Buck Britton every day. So.
Did you figure this was inevitable, that as soon as rosters expanded you'd be back, or were you not sure?
Yeah, I try not to think about those things because I think throughout the year you try to speculate a little bit of what's going to happen, and then if something doesn't happen you get upset or whatever. So I just went into this week in Jacksonville and just tried to do my best, and I honestly didn't even think about the rosters expanding until Buck called me. So.
Did you see what happened to Ramón? Does that give you a little extra importance of being here?
Yeah, I was on the plane, and you know, I saw what happened after the fact, but he was obviously doing very well, and I'm bummed for him because probably his best point of the season. And but yeah, I mean, obviously these guys probably need me to step up, and I'm just gonna do my best and play hard, and no pressure, just do what I can do.
More guys than not get optioned after they make their debut. It's very common. A lot of high prospects have done it here. They've all said, going back down, even if it's short, gave them a nice little reset to refocus and kind of gather their thoughts. Do you feel like the same thing happened to you when you went down to Norfolk?
Yeah, I think you're comfortable down there a little bit, so you go down there and you kind of can just play with less pressure on yourself and just go out there and you're going to do well most of the time. And I think that's what I did. I went down there and didn't put a lot of pressure on myself and played and did my, went through my routines, like I said. And when I got here last night, I didn't feel like it was it didn't feel like the first time. It felt like I've been here before and I'm ready.
He's going to have to be ready because he is now the third baseman. Orioles have gone through 2. You have a couple options to move it around, but like he said, you lose Jorge Mateo when he's at his peak, and now you lose Ramón Urías. But there's not a lot of reason to hit the panic just yet. Let's take a look at a then and now between this year and last season. The American League East standings, you can see on this day, Orioles were tops, a game and a half over Tampa Bay. This year, it's a very different story for Tampa Bay, but the gap remains the same. A game and a half. This time, it's the Orioles right behind the Yankees. We'll flip things over to the wild card picture as it stands because that currently does impact the Orioles. Last year it was the Rays by a half game. This year it's the Orioles by 4. We saw a lot that gave a lot of thought last year. Every team that had that 5-day off period struggled. They were out immediately. All the 100-win teams were out immediately. Now no teams are slated to win 100 games, at least as they're projected. But you had Arizona and Texas who didn't have stellar numbers. I mean, there's reason to not give up hope yet on this team.
Of course, and that's the silver lining. I had some people say that to me. That's like, I think Adam Jones, when he was back in Baltimore, said that, hey, everybody said that time off hurt the Orioles, so they better off hosting the wild card. I mean, I'm sure they'd rather win the division, and of course, so banged up as they've been, they could probably use a little bit of rest. Yeah. But we did see what happened last year, so maybe if you get on that roll like Texas did, you want to just keep playing and keep going. There isn't one dominant team at this point. No one's running away with it. So the Orioles are still in a good spot here. And I don't know if there's another team that's going to regain players like they are when you get Grayson back and when you get Westberg back and some other guys. Coulombe is going to be huge in that bullpen. So they actually could be much stronger within a few weeks.
And that's your reminder, too. They are eligible. We went over those eligibility rules yesterday. The injured list does apply to this situation. We do love being reminded of that even if it's late, it's better late than never, very literally in this case for the Orioles. Roch, thanks for breaking this one down.
Thank you. I'm going to take a nap now.